everybody, every beautiful body. This is Psyka Dela and we're still doing Kwanzaa. It's still Kwanzaa. It's day 3 of Kwanzaa. Today's principle is Ujima. So, habari gani? Ujima. Today is a chiller vibe. I'm pretty low energy and my vibrations are... So yeah, we're just going to observe some things about today's principle, collective work and responsibility. Another community-based one. They're all pretty community-based, like the whole idea of Kwanzaa, but I would say that things like self-determination and purpose are quite self-oriented, like you have to work on self-awareness and just, spend time with yourself to understand those things. But knowing that all the self-work really goes into what you will do with the results of that work for your community. So it's still about community, but I would say this one is pretty direct. As you are doing this self-work, you can think about the collective work. It's really only like recently that I'm really seeing what it means to actually be responsible for not just you. The idea of being responsible for another person is actually a little bit foreign to me. I will say it really feels like a weak point of mine, and it really feels like something that gets me down sometimes. Just how disconnected I think I feel from really understanding what it means to be responsible for something outside of yourself like that. And I honestly haven't really honed in on taking responsibility for my own self. It's been a slow learning process, and a complicated feeling one, and I have a lot of selfness to work on for the sake of my community in the long run. So this one is speaking to me a certain way, and it says to build and maintain our community together and make our community's problems our problems and to solve them together. Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and it's true. It is true. This is part of why you're alive, is for what you will be doing for your community. And the extent to which you help your community is based on the extent to which you feel responsible for them. The collective work and responsibility of Ujima is particularly directed towards being part of the African community. So here it says, Ujima supports the fundamental assumption that African is not just an identity, but also a destiny and duty. That is, a responsibility. A destiny and a duty. That's that's something, because I really have never taken on being part of Black as an identity and Black as a community very strongly. I've never really pushed in the name of Blackness so much, and maybe that's because I'm Caribbean and we are around each other mostly. There's obviously still all the isms, but it is a nation of Black people with a small percentage of any other race. So certain hiccups that I think Black Americans feel, Caribbean people don't really feel them. But of course, we are connected to Africa too, and we know it. And even just, Rastafarianism is proof that there are people in Jamaica who are very conscious about their Blackness. And Marcus Garvey, who is one of, the great leaders in modern Black history, is from Jamaica too. It's actually a wonderful position, I would say, being something like Jamaican or any other of the Caribbean islands. Being Black and feeling this need to connect to the motherland, but we're also around each other. Like, we're around other black people. Oh, you're black. Yeah, you're black too. Oh yeah, black person there. Oh yeah, we're we're all pretty black here. Even though our motto is out of many one people, and there are a lot of mixed people. Like, I have mixed up stuff in me, but in a one drop rule kind of sense, which is something to be discussed another time. But in a one drop rule sense, like, we're around black people, feels very secure, I would say. Yeah, I would say it feels secure. So I haven't really given much thought to how important it is to feel united as a community of black people, which is really anyone of the African diaspora, anyone. I don't know if it's diaspora or diaspora, and I find myself going between the two in my regular life anyway, so I'm just gonna keep living my life. The first feeling I thought when I saw Ujima and read about what it meant was almost a little bit of guilt, because I feel just a little outside of intentional connectedness with Africans, with people like myself who are of African descent. And I have a responsibility. I'm over here trying to be responsible for myself, and I'm only a certain percentage of the way there, but thinking about being responsible for my race, and especially in this social climate, is it feels a little daunting, and you feel a little bad about how much, you haven't seen that light until now. But you also feel driven. You feel okay. So I can't just, sit by and let life happen to me. I really have to take what God has given me and see my responsibility. It starts there. It starts with just seeing, like looking and being like, oh, I should feel called to take responsibility of that as if it were my own. Like it says, make our community's problems our problems, which is hard. I think that's hard. And that's probably because I'm just so focused on myself. There's so many beautiful human beings out here who are so selfless, and they're so community-based. They are living examples of collective work and responsibility. They've taken responsibility for things that, nobody said they had to. There are people out there who, are like foster parents or adopt children or just do a lot of charity work. Anyone in social work, you really are just angels here on earth. And we really appreciate you. It puts me in a state of reflection and judgment of self. Yeah, this particular principle has me feeling like it's something I'm really gonna think on multiple times throughout the year, next year, and just life in general. But now that I'm learning about them right at the turn of the year, I really feel pressed to think about what I'm responsible for and what is part of my duty. And based on what has happened to Africans, that has to be a part of my duty. But I feel very much like just a free human being, not very attached to my race or any of that demographic stuff. But you realize how important it is when there are people whose day-to-day are being affected by the fact that they are this or they are that or they are that. And it's no secret that the world does not like black people. You know what I mean? Like, anywhere in the world, even in Africa itself, even by other Africans, being racist, being colorist, like all of these things, hair texture and these things, like, there are problems everywhere. Like, where on the planet is this not an issue? so many centuries have passed of humans being human. So, you have some good places that maybe are clear headed now as a nation and can kind of think it through, those Scandinavian countries and stuff, and, trying to eradicate racism. Although they never really had a whole structure based on racism in the first place, the way that America did, like America's whole thing was like, let's take this free labor from black people who are like subhumans and build this whole nation up. Industrial revolution, everything. Yes, have them work on the railroads, have them pick the cotton, have them do all these things, and we'll deal with the repercussions later. Like, I don't even know, like, what did y'all think was gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen when you ruin generations and generations of people for years and they're like in your land? It's stolen land anyway, so it's not really even in your land. Like, the whole thing is just a shit show. It's a fucking shit show. Anyways, I digress. My instinct is not to feel attached to any demographic factor about me, but as I, develop my relationship with my soul and my purpose for being here, and purpose is one of the days of Kwanzaa, I must come to terms with the human body that I was born into and the societal context of the time that I am living in, and what it means, and what the relationship is between basic shit like my appearance and the maturity of human consciousness at this point in time. So reading about Ujima just, has me almost feeling a way about how removed I have been from my collective work and responsibility, and makes me feel like I need to get on track with that. And it will take some time, and it will take some creativity, which is another principle for Kwanzaa. So yeah, this is already just such an enlightening experience. I'm very grateful for it. Collective work and responsibility. Yeah, I absolutely have more to do in that area. If it's even to just, do something more charitable. Big up everyone who is already taking responsibility for so many people outside of yourself, and also nature. Big up all agriculture people who are doing the right thing with the planet. Carers of plants, carers of, just nature. Big up activists, like all kinds of activists, because something might affect you, but to then decide that you're going to speak out about it, and some people make their whole life about it, including some of the African Americans who would practice Kwanzaa. We're so grateful for you. We're grateful for you. Thank you for getting up and showing up and caring so much, and getting in the media so that we can see you, running your own social media so that you can control how we see you too. You really embody a principle like this. So yeah, in my own way, I would love to meditate on it more and act. And just really take responsibility where I need to. It's something that I'm struggling with in just, a very small personal life bubble kind of way. But Ujima, we believe in Ujima, and the journey to get there. Big up yourself if you're already killing the Ujima game, and if you're struggling in that department, or you feel like, you're really focusing on yourself and you don't know if there's room for that, take some time and be with yourself and think about it. But there is something that you can do from even now. There's something I can do from even now to take responsibility for my community and make my community's problems my problems in a, as small of a step as you need to go right now to, make sure you're intact. You don't want to give too much, and then you are like drawn out and you're nothing, which happens to a lot of people too. And thank you for doing that at your own expense. It's a big deal, and your karma will definitely bless you. I just hope that, you know, people give back in some way, shape, or form to who you are and what you need, and how you can stand tall like a tree and, you know, give fruit instead of just being sucked dry like, you know, a river or an oasis or something that, you know, dries up. Rather, if everyone is just blossoming, that is the best way I can see Ujima coming into play. So yeah, Kinara time. It's nice to see the candles, you know, getting used. Little wax there and little bun up things right here. So that's our umoja. This is our kujichagulia, and today is our ujima. You know, I was about to just light this one, but we gotta light our first girl there. Next one there. And happy Ujima! Happy Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. Amen. I think our emoja candle there is, you know, the wick is swimming in wax, or maybe it's swimming in the paint or something. So the flame is still there, but it's just super low and contained. Umoja is back. Hey, hi. And there's all 3 candles for the 3 days thus far. Manala, it give me a little pleasure to see the candle them lit. Yeah, let me know in the comments like how you feel. I guess, you know, some people find it hard to self-proclaim themselves as like, you know, a community person, a real giver, someone who has taken responsibility for a lot of things. But, you know, if you don't want to declare yourself that, in the comments you could, you know, talk about somebody who is that for you, who is somebody who has really taken responsibility for you. My bestie, she has taken incredible responsibility for me, outside of herself, and I'm so grateful, and you know, it's something that I must do in return. Maybe you feel the same way. So who is someone who you feel has really embodied Ujima? And also let me know if you're aspiring to do more Ujima based things and contribute to the community in a way where you really take on your community's problems like they're your own, and you really are your brother's keeper or your sister's keeper. Thank you for tuning in once again to my video, and happy Ujima. Peace.